Hello heathens, and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen, and my channel is dedicated to the exploration of paganism through the medium of cosmetics. If you enjoy this subject matter or find my content of interest, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and set the bell to all to be notified of when I upload new videos. In today's episode, we're gonna divert from talking about theology for a week. One, because there's no real theology centered around Valentine's Day, and I am going to use Friday's episode as a pick a card. And as such, I really wanted to cover the pagan roots of Valentine's Day in today's episode. As always, if you are returning to my channel, thank you so much for your kindness, your love, and your support. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are new here, I use cosmetic practice heads in all of my videos. Well, unless I'm doing oracle readings. And for the cosmetic practice heads, as always, they are sprayed with a layer of hairspray. And then they are coated in foundation and then finally in setting powder. The foundation I used today was LA Girl Pro Coverage HD in the color Porcelain, right here. And I used the Beauty Bakery flower in the color Rice. I'm running out of my Becca Hydra Mist, so until the baking powders that I ordered arrive, I believe tomorrow, which is Wednesday, as I'm recording this on Tuesday, I'm making do with what I have. Just trying to make sure that it doesn't wash out too much. Like in the previous video, I'm trying to use palettes and colors that I haven't necessarily used before. Of course, that can be a little bit difficult at times, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. I think today I'm going to use this Revolution Pro palette. This is Restoration. Haven't used it before, so we will see how it turns out. And as always, I'm going to lay down the blush and the highlighter before getting into the eyes so that I have a little bit more time to work with them. I'm going to use the matte nude pink blush, which is right here. This is from an Ulta box that I got around the holidays. And we will just try to tap off any excess so that it doesn't oversaturate. And if you are new to my channel in particular, do not look to these videos as to how these cosmetics work. These heads do not in any way, make, shape, or form have texture to hold on to the cosmetics. So if you're looking for reviews on cosmetics, this isn't really the channel for that, because how these cosmetics work on these heads is not reminiscent of how they work on human skin. And if you hear meowing in the background, please forgive that. That is my cat Artemis. She can be a bit vocal at times, like tonight. Yeah. Just want a hint of color. And then, let's see, I think for highlighter, I will use the rose gold highlighter. And that one is right there. Maybe a little bit dark for the skin tone of the head, but we will see. Actually, that's not too bad. One thing I've noticed from using these highlighters on these heads, and again, I don't know if they would react the same way on human skin, is they don't immediately come off as blinding, but they're buildable. And if you hear jingles in the background, my puppy is in the room with me, mainly because I do not want her eating my clothes or my shoes or any number of things that she has previously eaten or destroyed, and she's getting to be very, very, very expensive. But in general, she's a good dog. She just has separation anxiety, and if I leave the room, well, she takes that as license to go a little bit crazy. Let me try to get any extra powder off the back of this head. Apparently I didn't realize that there was some underneath it. Okay, so we have the blush and we have the highlighter applied. Just trying to make sure. Let me try adjusting this light a little bit more, because it seems to be washing it out a bit. There we go. Sometimes getting the lighting right can be a delicate balance. Let's see. Oh, you stinker. Okay, I may not be using this palette. It has tape holding it shut and I don't have any nails. Okay, so that will be another time. I don't really want to do a red look because I just literally did one. This is the Makeup Revolution Emily Edits palette. I'm just seeing what we have here. I have never used this palette, so it should be interesting. Let's maybe go for a subtle green color look. I know you're probably watching this and going, but it's Valentine's Day, not St. Patrick's Day. Well, when you look at the chakras, the heart chakra is actually a green color energy. So I'm thinking maybe doing a little bit of something with green. Maybe tie in a little bit of the violet family. We'll see how it works. Today is going to be an experiment. I am going to start with the shade Cupcake, which is... Actually, I will not, because it's a shimmer. I'm trying to find a decent transition shade. I think that one might be too dark. I'll combine cream and Midwest together a little bit, so we'll see how it works. And with that said, on with the show. Ancient pagans took part in a tradition honoring the Roman god Lupernicus. Lup, Lupercus? Lupercus, not Lupernicus. My bad. A wolf hybrid mother that birthed and raised Romulus and Remus in a cave. As legend has it, Romulus would later kill his twin brother and found Rome. Just trying to make sure I get that. That's actually a very good combination, so that worked. And it's okay if it's a little dark on the inner corner. That's okay. I'm trying to adjust my techniques a bit because I'm trying to get rid of the NYX eye primer, or the stark white of it, and kind of blend it in a bit with the skin tone so that it doesn't look quite so sharp, if that makes sense. Ah yes, I add NYX eye primer to the eyes as well. Let me turn this a bit. I have a bit of a shadow and it's making it a little difficult to see and make sure things are getting applied as they should be. In the cave where the twins were supposedly raised, women would be stripped to their underwear and whipped on their behinds, as it was thought to increase fertility. I guess they were a bit kinky in those days. Scrolling. Just trying to see if those are even. They're not too bad. Just trying to soften the line between the NYX eyeshadow base and the foundation a bit. So I'm going to go in with this color Oh Heavens, which is a pretty pale sage green. One ritual the Romans celebrated a holiday on February 14th was to honor Juno Fructifer, queen of the Roman gods and goddesses. In one ritual, women would submit their names to a common box, and men would each draw one out. These two would be a couple for the duration of the festival and at times for the entire following year. Both rituals were designed to promote fertility. On February 15th, Romans celebrated Luperaclia. Doing my best, I'm not a linguist. Let me turn up this light. I was afraid of it washing it out, but now I'm getting all sorts of shadows. That's a bit better. This festival was to honor Faunus, god of fertility. Men would go to a grotto dedicated to Lupercal, the wolf god, located at the foot of Palatine Hill, and where Romans believed that the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were suckled by a she-wolf. The men would sacrifice a goat, don its skin, and run around, hitting women with the small whips in an act which was believed to promote fertility. That's basically better describing the ritual I had previously mentioned. Okay, this light green color isn't really showing up as green, but that's okay. We will make it even on both eyes as best as possible. In the crease line, I'm going to put, I think that color is going to be way too dark. That's a shimmer shade. Oh, the joys. That one is going to be too dark. Let me check out another palette, see if there's a green color that would work. Maybe. In the So Jaded palette, I'm going to put a little bit of sage in the crease. During harsh winters, women were largely dependent on men and were largely dependent on the men they were with for shelter. They were also dependent on them for warmth and food. However, come springtime, they celebrated the Galinalia festival dedicated to Minerva, the Roman goddess of wisdom, arts, and war, who today is strongly associated with the Greek goddess Athena. In the interest of trying to keep them a little bit even, what happens on one side, we will do on the other, even if it was by accident. This festival brought an annual wave of empowerment. Let's see. I'm going to try the shade Side Hustle on the lid. See how it works. And if it doesn't, I will try something else. Yeah, it's not working too well, but in the interest of keeping both eyes somewhat even, we try apply the same amount to both eyes. Try being the operative word. Not so well. Alright, I'm going to put this palette away, because that one is not wanting to work as I would like it to. Nope. Ah, the joys of trying something new. There we go. This palette is Makeup Revolution, and it is the Optimum palette. Excuse me, not opium. Closing things that decided to pop up on me. I'm going to use the color Fighter on the lid. It's kind of a teal color. I have to go in and fix things a bit. Just trying to blend the colors a little bit if I can. This eye is not wanting to behave today. Looks like I'm gonna have to do a patting motion because it's lifting off the pigment. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna put down this shade Greatest on the lid over Fighter. Just trying to find a different brush maybe that might work a little bit better. I want something fluffy but not too fluffy. Let's try this one. What is with the pop-ups? Okay. This festival brought an annual wave of empowerment. We know from ancient Roman poets that bands of women would frequently break up with men and depart for weeks-long journeys to renew spirituality and independence with the death of old relationships. By the 4th century, Christianity was spreading like wildfire, and Pope Julius I wished to recognize several martyrs named Valentinus, who all died in different brutal, inspiring ways. If I recall correctly, one of them basically broke the rules and went on to marry couples against orders of the royalty at the time. Another one got beheaded for whatever reason. Apparently that was a popular punishment in those days. That eye does not like me. Every time I'm trying to put down pigment, it's lifting off. So I'm going to try applying Greatest with my finger. Maybe if I do that, it will apply a little bit better. I thought I had applied enough eyeshadow base, but it looks like I did not. The Pope swallowed the traditions of Galinalia for a new feast day assigned to February 14th on the Julian calendar. Thus, Valentine's Day was reborn as a popular Christian holiday, rebranded from its pagan roots that honor Lupercus. You can see how pretty that shade is. It's just not wanting to cooperate on the head. Let me get have these, they're not really makeup wipes, they're cotton pads that you can throw in the laundry, reusable, to help you remove makeup. Several hundred years later, too far. Sorry, it's been a long day and it's currently almost 10 o'clock at night, so getting a little tired. Several hundred years later, the church sought to rid Valentine's Day of its original archaic traditions, specifically women, who at this point in time were likely not raffled off and whipped in the name of ritual, and they were expected to be obedient, fertile, and committed. Thus, a very intentional rebranding of the holiday was in order. Women would no longer break up with men, but instead men and women alike would be encouraged to renew their love and commitment to one another. Over time, popular culture underwent a humanitarian shift in attitude that associated Valentine's Day with love, fertility, and sexuality. And in the Roman Catholic calendar and the adaptation of this holiday, it's basically nothing is really known of Saint Valentine except that he was buried on the Via Flaminia on February 14th. So in other words, to Christianize a pagan holiday, a Catholic priest picked a random saint who happened to be buried during Lupercalia. I'm going to apply Saturn to that upper lid, hopefully. Hopefully it will work. We will soon find out. Okay, that brush is a no-go. Sorry, I just washed all my brushes, and although you try to rinse them out well, sometimes you just miss one or two. It's kind of like a bluish green color. Even the chocolate associated with Valentine's Day has a pagan origin. The 15th century Aztec Emperor Montezuma I, who lived from 1398 to 1469, believed that eating chocolate on a regular basis made him more virile and better able to serve his harem. I think you can insert how on your own. The red rose has become the symbol of love, but not randomly. It was a favorite of the goddess Venus, who later birthed Cupid, whom I spoke about in yesterday's episode. And although the Day of Love was once declared holy by a pope in the Catholic Church, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Christian God, and rather, Valentine's Day is evidently rooted in the pagan festivities of Rome. Just trying to get... As I've discussed in a previous episode, these heads are not symmetrical at all. But, yeah, most human faces aren't either, so... we do the best that we can. With that color, Nothing there I want to use for a lip. And it was not until 1969 that the Catholic calendar officially dropped Valentine's Day, rendering it a long-standing tradition without religious base, ultimately resulting in what we see today, an empty day of commercialized cliches that millions of people around the world celebrate, with relatively few knowing actually why. Let's see. Lilac Moon. No, I don't want to do that color. Might do that one. Where's the other one? Might do that one. Nothing's really fitting the... See, it sounds like this. I'm like, I need to get more lipsticks. Because every so often I run into this issue where lipsticks don't really fit what I'm doing. I don't want to do London Fog because that's a bit gray. I'll do Underground from Gerard Cosmetics. Just need to get a... That one will work. Valentine's Day is not the pagan holiday, not the only pagan holiday to be absorbed by Christian empires as grand marketing schemes when religion was on the rise. One of which I've already covered, and more will follow as time progresses. If you want more information on that, check out my video about Yule. It's the first video that I did about the subject. It will not be the only subject video that I do about Yule. Excuse me. As there's more information to cover, I just didn't cover it all in the one video. But it is an annual celebration, so can always do that in the upcoming year. These lipsticks really do apply really well, so don't look to them with how they're applying for me. Or I should say, don't blame them for how they're applying right now. It's the heads and the setting powder and everything in between. Like right now I must have left a little bit too much setting powder on the lips, and because of that it's clumping up in balls a bit, but that's not the lipstick. I'm going to try my best to spread it out a bit. It's only natural for traditions to change over the course of thousands of years, but the intentional smothering by the Christian Church thousands of years ago has effectively cut off our modern spiritual connections to the world we honored with rituals. The beauty of these pagan traditions is in their timelessness. Individuals can disagree with the legitimacy of mythological roots, but the religious aspects take the back burner to recognition of community and compassion. Anyone, regardless of faith, can come together to agree that spring is a time of rebirth, and that winter, despite being a time of loneliness, death, and cold, is a great time to celebrate life. Pagan cycles intensely focus on seasonal archetypes, and speak to the primitive roots of our souls, regardless of religious affiliation. Just trying to even out the color a bit. In its best effort to show you that this is in fact a good lipstick and a very pretty color, I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand to give you an idea of what the color should come out as. Just because I'm having difficulty applying it onto the head, I don't want you to think in any way, make sure perform that it's reflective of the lipstick itself. It's just, it's not wanting to go on. These are not their liquid lipsticks, these are just plain lipsticks, so of course they clean off pretty easily. The colonization of pagan holidays over the millennia of recorded history has to be one of the biggest blunders of humanity. Now, as we tediously recognize corporatized holidays that had their spirit sucked away for a massive religious PR campaign, we have to ask, was it worth it? And are we happy? Many times the answer is no. But again, everyone has their own beliefs, and as I repeatedly say, I am not bashing Christians. I am only seeking to enlighten everybody as to what did happen historically, what transpired, and the effect of it. As I've mentioned previously, our tribalism was taken away from us, and sometimes continues to be so today. But anyway, this is the look for today. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. And anyway, if you enjoyed this video and wish to have more like it, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. I promise I don't bite. You needn't be shy. I enjoy and love interacting with each and every one of you. And before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can stay tuned for when I post and upload and release new videos. And with all of that said, until next time, I wish you happiness, I wish you joy, I wish you love, I wish you kindness, I wish you prosperity, I wish you peace, and most of all, I wish you brightest blessings. And until next time, blessed be.